Hello. So recently I got lucky and got my hands on the Digilent Digital Discovery Logic Analyzer. And I thought I'd do a small demo of it to show how easy it actually is to use. I'm doing all this handheld because I thought I wanted this demo out really quick. So I hope you'll be able to cope with my shaky hands. Anyway, I decided that I would design a small clock divider on the CMODA7 board, which has an internal 12 megahertz clock, and dividing that clock down and producing some outputs, which I should be able to see on my screen over here, displaying the waveform software which controls the digital discovery. Setting up this software is really easy. I briefly read the manual on what you need to install. I'm running a Linux Mint. It's a small PC. It's a 4-core 1.1 gigahertz, and it runs it just fine. There's no lag or anything, and it's so easy to use. Going over to the code, which can be seen here. Here's the schematic of the rendered code, and here you can basically see. You might want to pause the video to see this, but I'm looking at the 12 megahertz clock, and I'm simply just creating a counter and picking out bits from that counter to divide by a certain amount, and then I get a certain frequency out. So that's all of it. That's all it is really. Also, I did a LED duty cycle clock of 366 hertz, so that little LED that blinks, just to see that everything is running. Doesn't run at full power, but at 50% duty cycle. I'm using that 366 hertz for that. Also, I'm looking at this bit pattern, to get exactly 12, looking for exactly 12 million, so that I get 1 second delay on the blinking LED, and that's what you can see here. I have a small blinking LED, exactly 1 second. Well, not exactly 1 second, but well, depended on if the 12 megahertz is actually 12 megahertz or not, but I'm relying on that. They put in a nice little 12 megahertz oscillator there. It sure looks fun. Anyway, over here, let me just get this up and running. Here you can see the waveform software, and I just did a single sweep of the bus I defined over here. I have to admit, I never really read the manuals of this. I just sat down and did it. So I'm using the 200 megahertz inputs, DIO 24 to 31. They can be configured to inputs or outputs, and I used inputs. And what I'm looking at here is the actual clock signals I'm using. Note that over here I picked out bit 4, 5, 6, and 7, which basically means that over here I'm gonna see a clock division where the top signal here will be divided by 2, then divided by 2, then divided by 2. And since I picked adjacent bits, in fact what will actually happen is that I'm looking at a counter, and you can set up the waveform to display the value of that counter. So right here I'm actually looking at a counter counting from 0 to 15. Easy, very easy to use, and it comes at a reasonable price tag as well. I'm really happy that I got my hands on this one. This will be of great use. So yeah, that's it. Have fun with it. Highly recommend it from me. That's for sure. Bye.